because I had to add it up on exactly how much time I really had. 22 years old, I'm facing 12 years, and this is state time, this ain't Fed time. So state time, you're doing all your time. So I'm sentenced to 12 years, and I'm asking myself, I'm entering another prison the moment I get sentenced. And the reason why I'm entering another prison, and I'm not talking about the physical one, is because I'm having to make rational what's irrational. What do I mean by that? I'm literally trying to say, okay, I'm 22 years old. When I turn 34 years old, I'm still in the second prime of my life, so I still got a chance. I just rationalized losing 12 years of my life. There's no way to rationalize that. There's no way to make sense of it. It's impossible. But you're forced to make a reality out of something that is entering you into another prison. Why is it another prison? Because some can get that time and become stuck from the moment they get their time. When the judge gave me 12 years, I took a deep breath. I didn't breathe again until 12 years later. That inhale, when he gave me 12 years, I'm like, how am I gonna do this? I didn't exhale that until I walked out the gates. So your life is in a balance from the moment that they give you a certain amount of time. Right? So I'm facing 12 years. My first 2 years, next slide. My first 2 years is in this room. I was in solitary confinement for 2 years. They caught me with a cell phone. And the reason why they caught me with a cell phone is because I ain't had no money. But I wanted to talk to people. So you want to have some type of communication when you're incarcerated. But that's a big no-no in prison, right? So they're like, okay, sir, you want to be, one of their things is you want to manipulate the system. How many of y'all have heard that? How many of y'all tired of hearing that? You're trying to manipulate the system. I'm like, why couldn't it just be I'm just trying to talk to somebody? I'm lonely, man. But theirs is you're manipulating the system, you're a nuisance, you're this, you're that. We're going to place you in this room right here for 2 years. Coming out of that room only 1 hour a day. Some days I didn't even come out of that room an hour a day, because when you come out of that room, you go into another cage. So it's like, what's the point of coming out of here? I'm going into another cage when I get out of here. Only difference is I can see a little more. So some days I didn't even come out. It was during that time in this room where I started writing. Now, I didn't sit still long enough to read a book, let alone write anything. But Psalms 46:10 says, be still and know that I am God. There are some moments in life where you just have to be still and figure you out. Not everything that comes with it, not everything that comes to the back of it, not whatever that is, you have to be still. And actually, what I'm doing right now is the tail of the tape. And it was during this time I started writing, and I didn't know that my writings would become books. I just was really expressing what I had pent up from a youth. I was just writing. It was my form of therapy. So I'm writing and I'm writing and I'm writing and I'm writing. By the time I come out of this room, I have written 17 self-help books. On top of going to school, I was going to Appalachian State while I was here. This was the time when in state prison, they would pay for your education. Now, they don't pay for your education. Before, it was DOC. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to the change, but it was Department of Corrections, which means they were responsible for correcting you, for rehabilitating you. they had a responsibility. Well, a whole lot of lawsuits came in, and since a whole lot of lawsuits came in, then now it's called DPS, Department of Public Safety, which means the only requirement for prisons now is to keep you safe. They don't have to educate you, they don't have to give you anything, they don't have to do nothing. All they have to do is keep you safe. What does keeping you safe mean? If I decide to bring a cell phone in, and in me bringing in a cell phone, it could cause you problems, then they will then keep me even more incarcerated to keep you safe, which means they're going to put me in solitary confinement. No care to what it does to one's mental. So just think, for those who have not been incarcerated, just think you having to sit inside of your bathroom. Because if COVID wasn't enough, COVID was prison. Let's just put it that way. For those who haven't been incarcerated, COVID was prison. Now just think about COVID being prison inside of your home, but because you went outside without a mask, they then put you in your bathroom for 6 months. And you couldn't leave your bathroom for 6 months. That is the state that you're dealing with, right? So mentally, you're going into a deeper prison. Mentally, right? So this is where I was at. And during this time, it was the first time in my life that I couldn't run from nothing anymore. One of the things about being able to come out of your prison is you gotta stop running from the things that cause you the pain. You just gotta stop running. It comes a point in time when you have to take ownership. It comes a point in time where the person that you may have want to apologize to you is not. One of my difficult things and I had to overcome was forgiving the person who molested me. That was the biggest thing for me. That unlocked a totally different door in my life. It unlocked something totally different. Because I had to come from a place that was going to free me, but it was going to cause me to have to do something and examine Joshua. Right? Examine me. So during that time, it was one whole month when I didn't even move when I was in this room. Because I was so scared of what I was going to see in the mirror. Because I didn't even, once I stripped myself of the pain, I didn't even know who I was. I had to go to a rediscovery place. I had to rediscover who I was. Right? I had to put the definition of my worth and what I really was worth rather than what society, people, and prison told me I was. I told myself a long time ago, nobody will ever tell my story before I do. Nobody will ever tell you my failures before I do. Nobody will ever be able to define me other than me. Because the last time that somebody defined me, they defined me when they saw my crime. Oh, he's a danger to society, he's this. No, you didn't even go back far enough. What would you do if you saw your mother beat by another man? What would you do if you was molested by another male? What would you do if the only thing that your grandmother knew how to give you out of love was punishment? What would you do? If that was your life, what would you do? Instead of looking at it from the standpoint of I was just a hindrance to society, did you ever think about how I arrived at that place? But of course, that's too much work. Which is why, by the grace of God, I'm able to come into rooms like this and do the work that other people don't want to do. I know many may think that the stories in which that you hold deep in your heart that you have yet to reveal, those are the things that make you tough. Those are the things that are causing you to keep tripping over the same hurdle every time you feel like you're getting closer to your goal. It's allowing yourself to release those things and be vulnerable and transparent. That's what's going to allow you to get to your next level. So in here, I had a chance to face myself. In here, I started writing. In here, I started believing in myself. In your darkest moments, those are the areas that you will find your freedom. Because there's nothing of you left. You're broken. It ain't nothing left. When you're at the top and you're successful, it's easy for you to misunderstand when you're at rock bottom. Because you have so many tangible things you can hold on to. So many tangible things that can define your success. But when you're all the way at the bottom, and it ain't nothing left to take, everything that's been taken, the solution to you coming out of there, the light to you coming out of there, is in your hand. It's in your hand. Next slide. So, I get out of prison 2018. I walk outside of the prison gates. I breathe. I'm free. Right? I've gotten through the hard part. But now the challenge of life is here. No preparation equals no success. And success is not just money. Right? Success is defined as how you make your life better to improve the next person next to you. That's success. The next person to you can be your son, could be your daughter, could be your friend, could be your cousin, could be your brother, could be your mom. Whatever that person next to you is, that's what success is. If you make it to the top by yourself, it's not success. It's just a level that you got to. It's just a higher ladder for you to fall off of. And the people are going to be waiting for you to fall. You can believe that. So when I get out of prison, everything is taken off of me. I'm becoming extremely successful by just a post. After I get the post, I begin to start getting different accolades, right? Ambassador of the Oprah Winfrey Show, Nikki Rich Show. I'm on every show you can think of. And I'm like, yes. I go from a small room and I'm in California. Only time I seen California was on TMZ. That was the only time I seen it. That was when we watched it in prison on TV. And here I am in California. I'm like, wow. One thing that you have to understand about authenticity. People who are not authentic and live off of people who are, be careful. Be careful. Because your authenticity is their breeding ground. So when I went to Cali, I had plenty of people offer me different things for my story. This, and the third. But it felt so empty, it felt wrong. It didn't feel authentic, it didn't feel right. So when I got there, and I felt just totally like, I thought I made it, but it was coming down that I didn't make it. And I'm walking on the beach, and as I'm walking on the beach, they tell me that, I asked God, I'm like, Lord, why do I feel so lost right now? Why do I feel so abandoned right now? And clear as day, God said, it's because you went a little further from me than what you need to be. And I didn't quite understand that, but I'm grateful for it because the lights can blind you. They can make you walk into rooms that you think that you know and be completely oblivious to what you're looking at. I have been incarcerated for 12 years. I've been in the dark. So the lights in which that I was seeing, I wasn't seeing them from a clear view. They were actually going to take my authenticity rather than keep it. So as you guys begin to change your lives, as you guys begin to elevate, for those who are in the working field and haven't experienced, be careful of what some of those higher positions give you and what they're going to cost. Because if you don't count the cost and understand what comes with it, the very thing that you deem to be your freedom is going to be your prison. And for those of you guys who are changing your lives, don't run towards the money so fast before you deal with some of the things internally that you haven't dealt with. Least the money activate what you never faced. So there were some things that I still had to face before the money came. And I was cool with that. For the first year and a half, I did speaking engagements for free. For the first year and a half. And I was on big platforms. I'm talking about big ones. They would ask me, hey man, how much you get paid? I know you got. I couldn't even say nothing. It's like, nah man, it's free. Free? You got to be kidding me. I said, yeah man, free. Because sometimes God needs a full sense of humility before he can elevate you. If you ain't dealt with some things, elevation ain't gonna happen. So I started writing. Next slide. After the slide, and I came back from LA, and I realized where I needed to be, that's when everything just started happening for me. Everything. I have a nonprofit called Peace for Poverty. Peace for Poverty, we do business credit, personal credit, mental health, character building, strategic planning, and website development. All for free for the underserved community. We also do it from ages 13 to 19. And we also do it for those who are incarcerated before they come home. So before they come home, their credit is fixed. Before they come home, they have a business. Before they come home, they have mentorship. Before they come home. It was a mission of mine to make sure that I did that because I laid on those bunks and I know that everybody incarcerated is some of the most gifted and smartest people that I've ever encountered. The creativity, it was amazing. So I sat back, and they have things that are called systematic programs. Systematic programs are programs that are implemented according to the system. So my journey in prison, from the time that I was in that solitary confinement, I started to go to business school. Do you know what my counselor said when I went into her office? I'll never forget it. Oh, you one of the smart ones. But it wasn't in a nice way. And I'm thrown off because I'm like, ain't that what I'm supposed to be here changing my life, right? Like, supposed to be getting better. Oh, you one of the smart ones. So then I took Thinking for a Change, Father Accountability. Every program that they had in prison, I took. I have every certificate for it. Do you know what my counselor told me after I finished? The same thing that they told me when I got the cell phone. You're trying to manipulate the system. I said, wow. So I get a cell phone, I get the same answer. But now I've changed my life and I get the same answer. Those are the things that as you get out, you're going to be hit with. But if you don't do the work, then you're going to go back to the place that you was in prison in. And you're going to respond from that place. But if you do the work, there's nothing that can trigger you to respond to old behaviors. You continue on the straight path of what you're already doing. So I continue to just educate myself and continue to just keep getting better and better and better and better and better and better. Continue to keep doing the work. I got knocked down a couple of times. I found out that my mom had cancer when I had 9 years left. But if I had not forgiven the person who molested me, when I found out that I was getting ready to lose my mom, I would have picked that back up. And I would have reacted from that position. But because I had already been dealt with in that position, there was nothing to pick up other than change. That was the only thing that was to pick up. So instead of going back to old behaviors when I found out something negative, I just harnessed the ability that I tapped into and wrote a book about it. transferred traumatic behaviors into positive things. It gave me a different mindset. So I started writing. I was on magazines and different things of that nature, but I never start when I tell my story. Those who are at the conference, there's some things that y'all are hearing that y'all didn't hear there. I told you you'll never hear me say the same thing again. Because everybody in here has a story. You just have to know how to harness it to help change people's lives. You got it in you. You just need people who look like you, who've been from where you come from. Every one of my tattoos I got when I was in prison. I'm covered from all the way from here, all the way down. Legs and everything. I have no room, but a little bit of room.
A bunch of feet.
No feet. No feet. Couldn't do the feet. Couldn't do the feet. I was told a long time ago the feet is sensitive. I was like, all right, let me stay away from that. Behind the ear, neck, all the way down. Tattoos. When I was in prison and I was getting tattoos, I again was functioning from the place of low self-esteem. So because I had a low self-esteem all my life, I peed in the bed till I was 15. So that's low self-esteem, okay? So I got a low self-esteem. So as I'm doing this, and I'm working out. Now fellas, y'all know what it's like when you're in prison, you're working out, all right? One of the biggest things is everybody done forgot about me. But when they see me, boy, they gonna have something to reckon with when they see me. Okay? I'm gonna be in shape. Skin gonna be glowing. I'm gonna be healthy. You didn't answer the phone? Okay. All right. I got something for you. Yeah. So I'm working out already from a dysfunctional place. Right? So I'm working out. I'm tatted up. The song, I don't know if y'all know, but those who are into music, it had a tatted up song, okay? And I was when I got out, I was gonna play that song, and everybody was gonna feel me, okay? You were gonna see what you missed out on.